And this morning on Summer Spotlight, it's National Vietnam War Veterans Day. Well, many years have passed. Let me get this mic real quick on for us. Okay, this morning on Summer Spotlight, we are honoring National Veterans Day here in Michiana. And I wanted to talk more about the impacts and memories for those who are still feeling that, as if their boots were on the ground today. These men and women fought for you, me, and this country for 20 years, from November 1st of 1955 to May 15th, 1975. But now for the main event, I didn't want to let anybody be forgotten this morning. So I invited out two local vets this morning for a little refresher for us here at home to learn a little bit more. I've got Dave Martin and Dave Guzicki from South Bend's Vietnam Veterans of America chapter. Thank you guys so much for being with me this morning.
Our pleasure.
Thank you for having us.
Well, okay, this morning, Dave M., now you served in the Army, and Dave G., you served in the Marines. Can you tell me a little bit more about what thank you for your service means? Now, that is the biggest thank you I can give this morning, is thank you both for being here and let alone sharing your story. What does it mean for you when someone says that phrase to you?
It probably means a lot, because when we first came home, we didn't get too many thank yous at all. It seems like just in the past, maybe 15 to 20 years, people have given us, I think, the recognition that we felt we probably should have got 50 years ago, which I might add that it's been 50 years ago today that the last combat troops were pulled out of Vietnam. So that's the reason that we're having this national, 2017, I believe, is the year that it was officially declared, although technically the city of Mishawaka, they gave us a welcome home day back in 2011. At that time, it was one of the first cities in South Bend that I think had a recognition day for us. And then, of course, President Obama, President Nixon actually had a day 50-some years ago, but it was 2017 that officially became, National Day for us. And probably for us, it's not necessarily an honor of the war itself, but to honor the men and women that served over there in country, especially for the 58,000 that were killed in action. Plus, as of now, there's still some 1,200 MIAs that are listed as missing in action. So,
and I spoke with your guys' Director of Communications, Bob, a little bit more, who said out of the 10 million service members active at the time, 2 million of them were in the area of operation right there, boots on the ground in Vietnam. Clearly a big operation, taking thousands of lives and a lot of time as well, providing that security here at home. Now, Dave, can you tell me a little bit more, maybe a memory from your time in service?
Oh, there were a lot of memories.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago, I was in for 4 years, and excuse me, let me back up a little bit. What thank you means to me is it makes me feel proud, because for about 30 years I hid as a veteran. No one knew I was a veteran other than my family, and so we finally opened that up with Vietnam Veterans Association and people getting involved in the process. So it means a lot to me. It makes me proud to be an American, proud to be a veteran, and I want to share that with anybody that is a veteran. So
most certainly, and so it is still a good thing for anybody at home if we see our vets out and about to say thank you, of course.
Absolutely, absolutely, any of them, for any year, any war.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And can you tell me a little bit more, because I think we just keep coming back to this homecoming and the welcome or not so welcome that you guys felt. Has that changed over time for you at all?
probably one thing I would just like to add, like what Dave said, like when we got up, majority of us, once we got home, we took our uniform off, probably threw it in a closet or something like that, and didn't talk about it. I mean, I had jobs where I was probably working next to a veteran, didn't even realize it, because we didn't talk about it back then, in fact, to this day, I can read an obituary in a paper of somebody that I knew, and I'll say, dang, that guy was a Vietnam vet. And all these years, I didn't even realize that, because for probably the first 25, 30 years, none of us said anything because we were kind of shunned. The American Legions at that time, VFWs, didn't want us, and that's basically one reason why Vietnam Veterans of America was organized. We take care of ourselves, we got our own group, which we are a unique group in a sense, because American Legions and VFWs, they'll be around forever, Vietnam, at our national convention here 2 years ago, we voted to be a last man standing group, which means probably another less than 10 years, because we're losing there's 850,000 vets right now still alive of that 2.7 million. And we're losing, some people say 390 a year, which I don't know a day, I'm sorry. I don't know if it's that high, but even if it's 200, you do the math, one of these days, one of us is going to be the last man standing.
So we got to keep that tradition and
Right.
memory.
Yeah.
Right.
Summer, if we can regress for a minute back to coming home.
Yes.
It was a real bittersweet situation. You got on the plane or the boat in Vietnam, and you were so excited to be coming home. And you landed, and you were almost embarrassed to have your uniform on. Right. You couldn't wait to get your uniform off because of the way the public acted towards you as a veteran. It was a very, very sad experience.
And now here, 47, 50 years later, has that changed?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. Definitely. No.
And I'm glad to hear that has changed. And Live TV, there's just never enough time for these important conversations. I'm getting told I need to wrap things up in my ear. So hey, everybody at home, if you are looking to get involved or maybe a veteran yourself, right here on your screen is our local chapter, 1027 of the Vietnam Veterans page and the chapter here in South Bend. Please head there or talk to my guys here. I'll have all the info you need up on abc57.com. And stick with ABC 57 News.